Hello and welcome. This is a first-time playthrough for me of the book Journey Under the Sea, Choose Your Own Adventure. I have not previously read this, and I'm really looking forward to coming up to these adventure decisions together. Let's go ahead and get started. You are an underwater explorer. You are leaving to explore the deepest oceans. You must find the lost city of Atlantis. This is your most challenging assignment. It is morning, and the sun pushes up on the horizon. The sea is calm. You climb into the narrow pilot's compartment of the underwater vessel Seeker with your special gear. The crew of the research vessel Murray screws down the hatch clamps. Now begins the plunge into the depths of the ocean. The Seeker crew begins lowering by a strong but thin cable. Within minutes, you are so deep in the ocean that little light filters down to you. The silence is eerie as the Seeker slips deeper and deeper. You peer out the thick glass porthole and see fish drifting past, sometimes stopping to look at you, an intruder from another world. Now, the cable attaching you to Murray is extended almost to its limit. You have come to rest on a ledge near the canyon in the ocean floor that supposedly leads to the lost city of Atlantis. You have a special sea suit that will protect you from the intense pressure of the deep if you choose to walk about on the sea bottom. You can cut loose from the cable if you wish because the Seeker is self-propelled. You are now in another world. So we have a couple choices here. If you decide to explore the ledge where the Seeker has come to rest, turn to page 6. If you decide to cut loose from the Murray and dive with the Seeker into the canyon in the ocean floor, turn to page 5. So it sounds like we could swim out of the Seeker, like in our pressurized diving suit, or actually use the Seeker to explore the canyon ocean floor. I'm going to try page 5. We're going to stay in our vessel and dive deeper into the canyon. So page 5. You radio a status report to the Murray and tell them that you are going to cast off from the line and descend under your own power. Your plan is approved and you cast off your line. Now you are on your own. The Seeker slips noiselessly into the undersea canyon. As you drop into the canyon, you turn on the Seeker's powerful searchlight. Straight ahead is a dark wall covered with a strange type of barnacle growth. To the left port side, you see what appears to be a grotto. The entrance is perfectly round, as if it had been cut by human hands. Lanternfish give off a pale greenish light. To the right, starboard side of the Seeker, you see bubbles rising steadily from the floor of the canyon. If you decide to investigate the bubbles, turn to page 8. If you decide to investigate the grotto with the round entrance, turn to page 9. Okay, well, bubbles might be dangerous. I don't know. Like I said, I have not read this ahead. This is just gut feeling here. I want to explore the round entrance. So we're going to go to page 9. You pilot the Seeker through the rounded entrance to the grotto. Once inside, your searchlight picks up what appear to be docks and piers along the grotto walls. The Seeker's searchlight is not very powerful. However, you do have a special laser light which would light up the grotto like daylight. Unfortunately, the laser light can only be used twice for very short periods before it must be recharged aboard the Murray, now more than 2,000 feet above you on the surface. If you decide to use the laser light, turn to page 16. If you decide to cruise further into the grotto, turn to page 14. Okay, so I'm trying to understand here. Is it just dark and we can't see very well? Okay, once inside, your searchlight picks up what appear to be docks and piers along the grotto walls. Interesting. Okay, So we just can't see very well, but we think there might be docks and piers. Okay, so do we want to use our bright light? It sounds like we only have 1 or 2 charges of the bright light. But if there's docks and piers, then it sounds like we'll be getting out of the seeker. So let's use our bright light. So we're going to turn to page 16 if we decide to use our laser light. The beam from the laser light illuminates the entire grotto. Far back on the floor of the grotto is a submarine. Cautiously, you maneuver the seeker closer. You identify it as the submarine that mysteriously disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle almost a year before. The Bermuda Triangle is more than 2,000 miles away. The submarine is apparently not damaged, but is covered with a slimy algae. Beautiful fish swim around it as though it is their own special prize. Then you notice the main hatch is free of algae. Interesting. So the main hatch has been used recently. So our options are if we decide to enter the submarine, turn to page 29, or if we decide to cruise on through the grotto, turn to page 31. Well, we used our bright light, which allowed us to see the submarine, I think. If we hadn't used our bright light, maybe we wouldn't have detected the submarine. So I think we better take advantage of our detection of the submarine, and we should check it out. So let's try to enter the submarine. Turn to page 29. The submarine is indeed mysterious. You now have on your sea suit, and you open the hatch on the conning tower and enter the sub. Okay, so let me start over. Okay, the submarine is indeed mysterious. You now have on your sea suit, and you open the hatch on the conning tower and enter the sub. It is amazingly clean and in order. There are no signs of life, but there are also no signs of struggle or trouble. In the control room, you see a piece of mystifying equipment that just doesn't belong on this sub. A voice begins telling you that thousands of years ago, the leaders of Atlantis realized that their continent was slipping into the sea. They discovered a large underground cavern and built new forms of living quarters for their people. Later, when Atlantis was deep beneath the ocean, some of their scientists discovered and perfected an operation enabling them to breathe underwater. The voice, which sounds friendly, also tells you that there are 2 groups in Atlantis. One group is good and the other is evil. The voice invites you to enter the world of Atlantis and gives you directions and instructions to a secret passageway to the underwater city. As you follow directions, you spy an unbelievable underwater craft with several people in it. It must be an Atlantean ship. But are the people good or evil? Do they know of the secret passageway? If you hurry in, trying to reach the secret passageway without being seen, turn to page 43. If you rush back to the seeker, trying to escape danger, turn to page 44. We're going to hurry in to try to reach the passageway without being seen. I guess on page 43. You escape being seen by the submarine craft. Following the instructions, you enter a passageway. At the end of the passageway is an airlock door, and beyond it, an incredibly large air-filled cavern. Perhaps it is the inside of an extinct volcano. The land is pleasant, although strange to your experience. A soft substance covers the ground. It seems to be alive. You can't tell. A gentle light comes from the sides of this huge cavern. It reminds you of early morning light just before the sun rises. A group of people approach you with friendly gestures. They are wearing simple clothes, much like the clothes people wore in ancient Greece. They are kind and generous. You remove your diving suit to find that the air is good to breathe. These people speak a language that is unknown to you, but one of them acts as an interpreter. You find out that this is Atlantis. They tell you it is governed by a man who is greedy, selfish, and dangerous. The people are like slaves. Everyone is unhappy except a few who serve the ruler as his lieutenants. These new friends ask for your help. Perhaps you can help them escape. If you decide to leave your new friends and search for the ruler, turn to page 60. If you decide to help your new friends escape, turn to page 61. Well, if they are friendly, I'm going to try it. On page 61, we're going to try to help them. Let's see what happens. Page 61. The problem is, where did they escape to? The king is in charge. He rules the world below the sea, and his spies are everywhere. The only answer is to devise a plan to capture the king and put him in prison. The people are frightened. Some citizens tried to revolt years before and are still in prison. The king is smart and suspicious of everyone. You suggest a plan to put on a festival with a play. On a given signal, the actors and the people in the audience will rise up and seize the king. The actors will be carrying real weapons, but no one will suspect them because they are in the play. The people like the plan. They ask you to become their leader. If you accept their wish to become their leader, turn to page 81. If you decide to help them in their planning, but also to escape from this sad world, turn to page 86. Interesting. I don't really care either way on this. Do we want to be their leader and stay in Atlantis? Yeah, it sounds interesting. Sounds like an adventure. So let's turn to page 81. We will stay and be their leader. You do not wish to lead a revolt, but the people need you. You organize the play, and the king is pleased to have his people involved in a project that keeps them busy and happy. The people can't wait for the day when they can put the king in prison and make their own decisions. The night of the play, the theater is filled, and everyone waits for the king to appear, but there is a delay. The crowd grows nervous. Then a messenger from the king runs into the theater and announces that the king has had a serious attack of brain fever. He may not live. You wonder whether the king is really ill or whether he has found out about the plot against him. The people are confused and do not know what to do. They turn to you and you tell them to go on with the play. Just then a squad of the king's soldiers enter the theater. They are headed for you. If you allow them to capture you, turn to page 116. If you try to escape, turn to page 117. Let's go with the guards. Why not? Let's let them capture us and take us to the king. Page 116. Uh-oh. It is useless to try to escape the soldiers. You are surrounded. They take you to the king, and he sadly tells you that you are just like all the rest. He can't trust anyone. He will have to decide what to do with you, and in the meantime he throws you into the dungeon. The end. Where did we go wrong? Well, that was fun. Maybe we could try this again and try a different path next time. So thanks for joining me on this adventure of Journey Under the Sea, and I'll see you again for the next one. Take care.